It's the weekly show about rAVe with the hottest news in the AV industry. It's rAVe TV. Give it up for Steph and Gary. Steph and Gary.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of rAVe TV. We're coming at you live from DSE 2022.
It is day 2, and the show floor literally just opened. But we're coming to you live to make sure that you get a chance to see what we're seeing here.
Exactly.
And that's going to include you doing what I did yesterday and running and doing a show floor tour.
Scampering off and showing you a few of the booths that I find really cool about the show floor. Gary did that yesterday. Gary, you're really good about on your show floor tours, like just picking people out and be like, hey, come on, talk to me.
I have no problem doing that.
Yes, I think that I'm getting a little better about doing that.
So for those of you who don't know what this is, every Wednesday at noon, worldwide, but noon Eastern time, we broadcast rAVe TV, which is the industry's only live TV show. We're almost at 2 years of doing this. Can you believe that? That's
wild.
Almost at episode 100. But we come to you every Wednesday at noon, and we broadcast at ravepubs.com, on youtube.com/ravepubs, on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter, all at the same time.
Yep.
But at trade shows, we come to you live from the show floor each day, once a day, just to kind of give you an idea for what's going on the show floor and interview some of the movers and shakers, so to speak, of the industry. We're going to do that today, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. We're going to interview some cool people.
Yep.
We're going to talk about, first of all, Gary, what are some products on the show floor that have really struck your fancy?
Well, I think a lot of the products that are here we've seen before because
That's true.
We just had InfoComm this summer, and of course we were at the CEDIA show, and a lot of the brands were there, including Sony.
That's true.
But the couple things I saw that are really cool, in my back pocket here I have one that I think you'll really like, because I didn't want to forget this one. This company's called KitCast, K-I-T-C-A-S-T.
Oh, this is for Apple TV.
Yes.
Yeah.
It turns an Apple TV, it's an app-based product, and for $26 a month, turns an Apple TV into a media player, so you don't need a media player. Now, what's cool about it is they can broadcast to up to 10,000 Apple TVs simultaneously.
Cool.
You can actually stream live video to it, right? And you can schedule. It has its own CMS, its own content creation system. $26 a month per Apple TV, and of course, if you do an enterprise-wide application, then they have an enterprise version that's even less expensive than that. But it's manageable by the IT department, and you can still use your Apple TV to watch TV or as an AirPlay device in the room. So it'll automatically flip over to the digital signage mode when you're not using it as an Apple TV.
Right.
So it saves you money in having to buy a media player. So we see a lot of this with the brands on the show floor. Like if you look at all the display companies that are here, Sony included, all the LED companies, they all have media players, chip on board type media players built into their displays. I think that's one of the things I think is sort of like, I don't say game changer as much as an industry changer, because if you came to the show 10 years ago, it was filled with media player companies.
Yes.
There's only one on the show floor here.
Which is
Brightsign, yep. And then, of course, KitCast, I guess you could call them a media player company, but they're really a software provider, app company. But so those are a couple of things I've seen. And, of course, I'm really impressed with Art Media being here. They're doing a good job showing the HoloPort product, which is their holographic box, kind of thing.
Yes, which can be used to, join meetings. It can be used as a virtual. You can give a keynote, but which you've done that before.
I have actually used the Art Media to do a keynote in Dallas, Texas one time.
But they are actually here showing more retail applications for that product. So that just kind of opens up a new revenue source for them.
Yeah, we shot videos there, so you can see it. So you go to Art Media or go to ravepubs.com and you click on the DSE link, and you can search Art. AHRT.
Yep.
What else have you seen?
Did you see Vestaboard?
I've seen them on Instagram. This is the first time I've seen them in person. I've seen their ads on Instagram.
It's rare to see a digital signage company sending us ads on Instagram, which is very wild, but this is a very cool
it's
company.
a retro digital signage board, right?
Yes, but it's controlled by an app.
Yeah.
And it has, I think, 62 or 100 characters, because it can do colors, it can do letters, it can do emojis.
You should describe what it is, though. It's kind of like this flip board.
Yes, it's made to look like the old boards outside schools or churches of the past
or
with light.
Airports.
And you just do the invisible kind of letters in front, but it flips them automatically, so it makes a little flipping sound, and you program what you want it to say with a little app on your phone. It's very cool.
Yeah, it's retro digital signage in a way.
I think it's chic looking, which is why I like it.
I like it, and there's a lot of display companies here.
Yes.
But there's a lot of really unique providers here. I mean, you look, there's a company that does everything here. Meaning, there's companies that are doing content creation. There's companies that are doing network distribution, programmatic, advertising, and also all the hardware that goes along with it. All the kiosk opportunities. Experiential things. Anything else you see on the show floor that
those are kind of the ones that like have really stuck out to me. I thought I would see more gesture control than I have. I think I've seen one booth.
Nexmosphere had gesture control. NEXMOSPHERE. They're here and they have their gesture control product, and it works with any media player.
Yes.
Right. So you don't have to spec.
Because early in COVID, it did seem like that is what we were really, really focusing on, was a lot of gesture control. But I think that we are going back to wanting to use a lot of touch and digital signage applications again. I think people were just really anxious about that early in COVID. But we're kind of getting over that again now. So.
Yeah, and I would say that one trend that I'm noticing is a lot more interactive. It's funny, we're seeing people use the term static digital signage now, which is kind of weird to think about because digital signage was supposed to change static signage
up
into
the game from static signage.
But now static digital signage is digital signage that doesn't change very often, or you can't touch. And people your age want to touch everything.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, you're used to it on the phone, right?
Yeah. Just walk right up and be like, yes, I'm used to pretending everything's a touch screen. Just assuming.
I think we should get to our first guest.
Yeah, let's do
who
it.
I've known for 10 years now, probably.
Yes.
So Stephanie Gutnick, who's with Yahoo, right?
Yeah, thanks so much.
So
Yahoo!
Who's Yahoo?
Who is Yahoo? Oh, well, it's actually the second most visited web entity in the U.S. Did
Is
you
it
know
really?
that? Yeah.
I'm not surprised. I used to use it as my search engine years ago.
I mean, I hope you still do. We have a great search offering. Come on.
No, I know that you're involved in more than search. First off, I want to congratulate you on your career, because I met you when you were just starting in the industry, and you've done some amazing things. What do you do for Yahoo?
So I oversee digital out-of-home globally for Yahoo. So Yahoo, has our web entities, Yahoo News, Finance, and search and email and all of that. But we have a tech stack that enables programmatic buying and selling. So we do that for digital, for mobile, for CTV, and for digital out-of-home now.
Very cool.
So that's what I do both on the DSP, the demand-side platform, as well as the SSP, the supply-side platform.
So we talked yesterday to Kim Frank, and we were talking about how out-of-home is growing rapidly because money is shifting away from television advertising. Isn't that where most of that money is coming from, or where is your data say?
Well, a lot of it still does come from out-of-home budget allocations, but with programmatic, it's now being spent in a more flexible, optimized way. So media buyers can change their campaign configuration based on whether it's time of day or even with in-flight sales analysis, which is a feature that we offer based on how much is being spent on the channel, and it's sophisticated enough to know whether a display ad on your point of display, whether a static ad or a video ad is performing better. So you have all of these data inputs to make programmatic more optimized. And then we're also, to your point, budget because of that is coming in from other channels like digital, like television.
So do you see, what is your outlook on out-of-home? Do you think that's going to grow exponentially, and will that drive the hardware that we're seeing here at the show?
Yeah, I'm in an unbiased, but I can't help but be biased fashion. I do see a really bright future ahead, particularly when it comes to being able to measure results from out-of-home campaigns in much more of an apples-to-apples way that marketers are used to seeing from digital. We are able to justify out-of-home's place in an omni-channel campaign, and it's only going to mean that more investment brings enhancements in the technology. Whether it's, I love how you mentioned when consumers cannot touch a screen, but whether it is a touch screen element, QR codes are being placed in out-of-home creative more. But then what I always say too is, if you're going to measure, just make sure that the creative is conducive to the goals that you're measuring. Because as we know, it's a visual medium, and if there's a QR code, please ensure that you're instructing the viewer of what they're going to get. Exactly. Like, is this for a coupon? Great, I'm going to scan it. I love a coupon. But just make sure that people know, is it for an AR activation?
So when I've always thought that ultimately one day we're going to come to this show that is DSC, and it's going to be called the advertising show, because I really kind of thought that digital signage would not be called digital signage as long as it has been. I kind of thought digital signage would be folded into the ad industry. You're the bridge, actually. You're the person that came from our market and is now on the advertising side. And you're owned by Verizon, is that right?
No, actually, it's private equity now. So
Okay.
Yahoo's owned by Apollo.
Apollo,
Yeah.
yes, okay. I think I did read that. But ultimately, you're driving sort of like that merging of the tech and the advertising world. How do like integrators, let's say they do a campus-wide deployment or even a corporate-wide deployment, when can they enter into programmatic? Like, what is the measuring minimum, and then how do they even find out about that?
Okay, these are great questions, and it's always when it's just, is the screen relevant to an audience that would then, want to pay for a product or service? It's the whole advertising as information school of thought. I know you teach advertising, so I thought I'd drop that in there for you.
I do appreciate that.
But so, I always instruct media owners and buyers is just think about in the context, are these screens going to be conducive to an audience that needs to learn from them in some fashion?
University community, I would think that they would be.
Absolutely. So if there's demand, then they can be hooked up to programmatic platforms such as Yahoo's SSP or Vistar and Hivestack are on the floor. They have SSPs too. And then it's just money is not going to just fall from the sky the minute that you integrate programmatically. You still need to have an ad sales team that's out there talking to buyers about why your screens are relevant.
Yeah. And then you just put on, does everyone have access to programmatic equally, or how does this work?
Yeah, it should be.
Okay.
And in terms of on the buy side, whether it's agencies or the advertising buyers themselves, they can all access demand side platforms. That's usually what they're doing anyways to buy their media. So the fact that digital out of home is now there and they can just add it in the campaign and do everything in one place, it's all about making it easy for people, right?
Yeah.
But we don't yet have approved sort of standard metrics for impressions, right? That's not
We
yet.
do. These are good questions. Yes, we've made some progress
Okay,
there.
okay.
So yes, there is an impression multiplier because usually these screens in a digital environment, one ad is served to one person typically, right? But with out of home, there's going to be multiple people viewing that screen. So it's called an impression multiplier.
Okay.
And we have GeoPath, which does a lot of that in the U.S. But we also have ComScore that's entered the industry.
Okay, I did hear about ComScore.
Yes, and that, again, going to the whole idea of apples to apples, buyers of other media, they know ComScore.
Yeah.
So when they see data from ComScore, they're like,
gonna believe
we
it.
trust this, and we can add this to our campaign.
Yeah, and for those that don't know, ComScore is sort of like the alternative to Nielsen ratings.
Yeah.
If you kind of think about television, Nielsen ratings, ComScore does all the digital stuff. And they also do other kind of ratings too, but ultimately, and they're also a data company as well. But Stephanie, again, congratulations. I appreciate you coming by here, and I wish you the best of luck, and hopefully you'll be part of the rAVe family for a long way to come.
Thank you so much, and I will be, so no worries.
Yes.
Yeah, great. All right.
Seeing you, Stephanie.
So who's our next guest?
Michael Katz. Michael Katz of Signage is our next guest. I don't know if you recognize him.
I do know who Michael is.
Yes, come on in,
over,
Michael.
Yeah. How you doing?
Hi. So yes, Michael, we met a couple years ago, I think, at an Avixa virtual event, and you have been a Blog Squad columnist ever since.
Right, number 20 coming out shortly.
Yeah, very good. So first of all, tell me a little bit about the show. What do you think of it? Because you don't have a booth. You're kind of here networking. So tell me how it's.
Wandering around, meeting potential partners, meeting with partners I've never met in person.
Yeah.
Looking at some of the technology. I have some projects that clients have said, oh, we want to do this in phase 2, and I'm kind of looking for them, and then I'll bring the integrators in. But again, quality, not quantity. Always.
Always.
Yeah.
And so you always talk about how smaller shows are really good for you because people have more time.
Yes.
So have you had a lot of good meetings here at the show so far?
For me personally, excellent. I have a little list. I followed the list. I would say I have met now with everyone that was on my list.
Yes.
I had a little event, the Luminarium, which you went to.
Yes,
I
I
had
did
some
go to
people
that.
there. That was great. We had 7 people.
Yeah, which is that's smaller for a networking event, but then I actually got to spend time talking to every single person who was there, learning about what they do. I got to meet Blue Zoo because of you and learn about what they do, which they're a very cool company. We talked about data privacy and stuff, which I never thought that I would spend time talking about that, but they were like, what we do is we just see how many phones come into a space. We don't see what's on the phones. We just measure how many people come onto a space versus how many phones they have.
Which provides a measurement.
Yep.
value to the advertising.
Exactly.
And they know how much to charge per eyeball, etc.
So very cool. So tell me a little bit about some of the technology you've seen. What is some of your favorite things that you've seen on the show floor?
One in particular, I think the company is BSI. I've never met them before.
BSI.
They are taking the OLED, which is 55-inch diagonal from LG,
Yeah.
putting it into structures. So now you're talking much larger sizes, because the problem with the OLED is only 55-inch diagonal. So if you have, let's say, a client that's doing, let's say, a chandelier, let's say 3 stories high in their lobby, and they want to put something on the side, but it's not large enough, this structure can go around the chandelier, as an example.
Okay.
So
What is the technology it's using?
it's using the LG OLED display,
So
but
are
then
they
they have
like
a structure.
stripping out the outside of it, or is
No,
it
it's still in there. It's just a structure around it too. So you have over there, I
So
think
you can
it's
slide more of them in there.
right, and you can
Okay.
actually put it around something like a column.
Yeah. Okay.
Very
got it.
cool. Any cool software and other?
So, as a matter of fact, I did a little research because we have sometimes opportunities in the kiosk world. So I went to the Kiosk Manufacturing Association. I spoke to this woman from Dolphin. She explained something that I did not know about a software that has to be used for the kiosk. I'm thinking, oh, like digital signage? No, you need an operating system software. I did not know that.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I didn't know that. So I'm learning from her, and then all the people I've met, I'm going to set up separate meetings over the next couple of weeks, get further into their world, and then figure out how we can work together.
Yeah, very cool. So have you been to a DSC before this one?
No.
Okay, so having nothing to compare it to, what do you think of how the show has gone?
It's very focused in terms of just digital signage and every aspect of it,
For sure.
which is Infocom is more on the AV side, I would think.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, again, we play in that world, but in my side, which is really software and then a media player, it's really a small piece of the puzzle. So integrators need to know, our piece, and then the audio, and then the control system, and then all the miscellaneous components. But I mean, I like
So
the
this
show.
is a good show to get
Yeah, for
them
me, for sure.
more immersed into that and
Yep.
kind of realize every level. of the-
And digital signage is growing faster than AV.
That's true.
It's growing at a rate 2 to 3 times the.
Because we
the
keep talking about
AV.
how it's going to pull in more advertising. It's going to pull in
definitely.
more than just Pro AV.
And also, you don't just when you do digital signs, you generally don't just do one sign. You do hundreds.
yes.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the idea, right?
In a perfect world.
Right, right. I have some clients that they started in, one started in Tennessee, another one started in New York, and they're going to go to like 13, 14, 15 multiple locations
Yeah.
once they get used to using the software and then seeing how the clients react to them.
And of course, you should check them out at Signage.com.
Yes.
They got some great software
For sure.
applications.
Yep.
And
Yep.
you definitely check out Michael's columns at raypubs.com. Go to the
For
Blog
sure.
Squad link,
Yep.
and you can read all of his columns. You got about 20 of them up there, it sounds like.
Yes,
now.
he
Yes,
does.
funny. That's true.
Thanks for writing for us.
Thank
Sure.
you, Michael.
Appreciate everything,
All right.
man.
We're going to bring out Marcus
All right,
next.
thank you.
All right. Marcus, all right. Marcus, how you doing?
Good, how are you guys?
Introduce
well.
yourself, Marcus.
My name is Marco Strenzio. I'm VP of Creative and Strategy at iGotcha Media, and I focus on digital experiences within mostly retail environments.
Yeah.
and
Well,
spaces.
they need you right now because the truth of the matter is people have become really comfortable shopping online. And to drive people into retail spaces, they're going to have to build experiences. They're going to have to make it more fun. And it's something that people want to go back. Otherwise, you're just going to keep ordering online, right?
Yeah, you know what? I mean, what we've seen now is a rise of experiential retail. Is kind of like how I'm
That's
referring to
true.
it, right? So the role of physical bricks and mortar retail has completely changed. It's no longer about just a convenience factor or a customer service factor. It's about immersing that customer in the brand experience. And still being able to obviously touch and feel merchandise, which is not going away anytime soon.
So what are you being asked to do right now? What's the most popular ask? Is it just put monitors in stores, or are you doing something more experiential than that that's interactive? Like what's sort of the low-hanging fruit in the retail world?
Yeah, I mean, I do a lot of work with the luxury retail category and sports retail, so they're already past, the screens on the wall. We're doing a lot of stuff with transparent display technology, with curved LED, with
Is it because
larger
it looks
walls.
cool, or they
No.
actually have good applications for it?
It has to have a purpose and strategy, right?
Okay.
So I mean, that's probably one of our biggest points of difference. I mean, a lot of agencies follow that methodology,
Yeah.
but really helping them figure out how they can immerse customers in that brand story, help with their merchandising, help with product awareness. So it's not about technology for the sake of technology or just being cool.
What's the coolest project you've done in the last year?
So I had the chance to work with Canada Goose to help them launch
Oh,
their
cool.
footwear launch. And if you're familiar with their brand,
I didn't know they had footwear. I knew they had those expensive jackets. They now have expensive
now they have
footwear.
expensive footwear. Exactly. Yeah.
Your daughter has one of those jackets, right?
So
Yeah.
tell us about what did you do for them?
Yeah, so I mean, they had a global footwear launch, and as part of that, they selected some key retail locations around the world that they really wanted to make a splash digitally. So we did some stuff with holographic LED fans.
Wow.
We've worked with a partner called Volumental that does 3D foot scanning. So to have an enhanced fit experience, part of a branded ambassador journey where you get greeted and are just enveloped and immersed in
Do
huge
they have the big
technology.
logo on the side of their shoes too, just like they do on the jackets?
It's not that big.
So how do we find out more information about your company? Where do we go?
You can go to igotchamedia.com.
IGOTCHA media.com.
That's correct.
Appreciate
Thank
you
you so
coming by
much,
here.
Thanks a lot.
Marcos.
Thanks for having me.
Congratulations, and thanks for making the retail experience more interesting.
Thank you very
Yes.
much, guys.
I
All
appreciate
right, we're
it.
going to bring out Brian Mazzaros of OpenEye Global next.
Never heard of him.
I never heard of him.
Yeah, who's this? Hi, Brian. How's it going?
I just randomly just showed up today.
He just
so-
showed up and
so,
was
hey.
like, oh, yeah. Here,
I'm like, hey, I'll just,
stand a little
oh,
closer
step in.
for
Yeah,
me.
sorry.
Perfect.
Yeah, no worries.
All right, so
Yeah.
first of all, introduce yourself. Tell us about your company.
Sure. So Brian Mazzaros. So I run an agency called OpenEye Global. We're an experience design agency. We're 21 years old this year.
Wow, that's awesome.
It's absolutely
Congratulations.
amazing. We can drink now.
Yeah,
So
great.
I've never had a drink before. So.
What's that?
What is that? Yeah.
Awesome. So we were to your XUSC event last
Yes,
night, so talk
yes.
a little bit about that.
Yeah. So XUSC now I've been doing these events now for about 4 years.
Cool.
And it really kind of just started as, I'm going to say the anti-networking kind of event, but it was more of, we all try to create these experiences. So why shouldn't the network events we go to have a little bit of that feel to it? So
Yeah.
something
Sure.
that's different, a little bit more lively entertainment.
Yeah, the
kind of
entertainment
level
was
the playing
cool.
field.
Yeah.
and it was so it was kind of meant to be something you'd want to do on a Thursday if you were at home.
Yeah, no, it was great.
And that's how they kind of continue to evolve from there. But I also thought too, it's kind of fun because you don't have to be from the AV world. You could be from the design world. You could be from just multiple places, because at the end of the day, that's all what we like to do is that kind of environment. So just make it comfortable to hang out.
And I do think that that's the future of this show. I think that, like you said, Gary, digital signage is growing a lot quicker than AV, and it's going to
Yes.
be kind of the place where designers, AV people, advertising people, this is going to be the apex where we all meet. So
Yeah.
they've got a really
Yeah.
big opportunity
Good word.
here at the show.
I got to start using that word in my articles.
That was good.
Apex.
There's
I
a
like
lot of
that.
good ones.
That's where the grad
I
school
would have said
degree-
intersection.
That's what
but
I've gotten.
I like Apex better.
Yeah, thank you. That's what I've gotten. That's my one thing that my grad school degree has gotten me. So,
No, wait, hold on. She
That
went to
was my one.
Columbia. She went
Yeah.
to Columbia.
well, it is
She went to
it is a
Columbia.
Friday, and you haven't
It's not
brought it
just a
up
grad
yet.
school,
So
it's
this
Columbia.
is
So anyway,
So when it comes to the design community, do you find that there's a little bit of tension between design and digital signage sometimes?
I think there is. I still think there's a lot more to be learned on both parts.
For sure.
I think in how we communicate what we're envisioning, and then how to understand what the boundaries are with technology, and sort of that give and take. And so I feel that we come here, I come here, and my team comes here obviously to try to learn more,
Yes.
so that we're more fluent, and that we can be more with our clients and educate them on what really is possible. And it's nice to see, because I'm starting to see more agencies that do come, that do understand
Exactly.
that. And I preach that. A lot of my other colleagues preach that too. And it's nice to see, like, walking around, it wasn't like that for years.
Yeah.
It was more heavy AV
tech.
and tech. Right.
Yeah,
and
so tech, yeah.
I would talk and I would use
we still
creative
need more
tools.
creative here.
We still need more creative.
That's true. There's
I
always
mean,
room for more.
Every booth has what's on the screen. That's creative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
so-
and the weird thing is, there's not a lot of creative content producers here. There's a few.
Yeah, yeah.
There's definitely more than there was 10 years ago.
Oh, I
It's-
entirely
it's-
agree.
Yeah,
Yeah.
10 years ago there were
Yeah.
none.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Even though this show is smaller, because this is its first year back, I
Yep.
do think that there is so much opportunity for that growth
Yeah,
in future
no,
years.
I-
yeah, and
definitely agree
think
with
that. I'm surprised, honestly, that Apple / Adobe / Microsoft and / Google haven't
I
really
agree.
gotten into this space.
I agree.
I
Yep.
do expect them to.
Oh, yeah.
Apple's taken
Yeah.
a stand saying we are going to enter the enterprise
Yeah.
market, and part of it is
Right.
going to be content.
I think my
creation.
biggest surprise though is Adobe.
Yeah.
They floated it around for a
Yeah.
while, and
Well, they even
they
They're
even
the
bought-
creative
right.
company.
They did.
Yeah.
They did. And so many people use them. I mean, we
Yeah.
use them, and so the workflow is already established.
Right.
So,
And they're
They're
in
missing out by
programmatic
not being here.
advertising, but they're not in the
Yeah.
large format stuff.
no,
Yeah.
they're
So,
missing out of a huge
Adobe, if you're
market.
watching
So
this.
we need you here,
Yeah, we need you here.
and some maybe
Check
free
out
Photoshop
DSC
licenses.
2023.
Yeah.
All right, so look, I'm going to let Steph go, because
Oh,
Steph
yeah.
is actually going to go
Yeah.
do a show floor tour. We
Yep,
need to give her a
so-
minute to set up.
Yeah,
so
I've got to go
you
run.
Go and I'll,
All right.
and I'll sign
yeah,
off with
sounds
Brian.
good.
Cool.
And,
Thank you,
so
guys.
Brian, I
Thanks.
appreciate you being here. Congratulations on your success.
Nice.
You and I met probably on the show floor probably 8 or 9 years ago.
Yeah,
I've been coming to the show for about 15 years.
Yeah.
And it is a different show. It was very hardware focused.
Yeah.
But companies like you and people like you have really changed this industry. So thank you very much.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
And I want to thank all of y'all for watching rAVe TV. As you know, this is our normally every Wednesday at noon TV show. And I will tell you this Wednesday, the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, Brian, Steph and I have a surprise for our audience. We're going to do something that no one in our company even knows we're going to do, which is do something surprising on rAVe TV. It's going to be fun. It's going to be lighthearted. It's going to be cute.
I'm intrigued now.
It is going to be cute. It's going to be fun. And you're going to get to see a different side of Steph and I on Wednesday's rAVe TV. So definitely watch. Go to ravepubs.com, noon next Wednesday. And, of course, see all of our digital signage experience coverage at ravepubs.com. Now, Steph, go. I'm turning it over to you, Steph. Go do the thing. Go.
Thanks, Gary. Okay, yes. As Gary said, he did part of the show floor tour yesterday. I'm going to do the rest of the show floor tour today. As we're talking about, this show floor is a little bit smaller than maybe some of you are used to, but this is the first year back for DSE, and so it is a really good size show. So let's go. Thank you. Okay, I think Gary showed you guys this yesterday, but here is Infrared. On the other side, which I think he showed you, they have a digital signage display that is completely wrapped. Here you can see we have Chrome OS showing some digital menu boards, kiosks, all powered by the Chrome OS platform. I wanted to first take you guys to one of my favorite booths on the show floor. This is Art Media. They're showing its holoplot. So as you can see, Gary and I talked about this a little bit earlier. This can be used so that people can virtually give keynotes. They can be just brought in as a hologram, but they have a lot of other retail and very similar use cases for this as well. So not only can people show up on here, but this can show up with showing a 3D version of this watch, 3D version of a bag, 3D version of sunglasses. There are kind of unlimited use cases for this type of technology. So I can honestly see with cameras up here, they've got a Bose sound system up above. I can honestly see them being able to show you wearing something so you can see how it looks on you before you even buy it. So the options really are unlimited. So very cool. Love to see Art Media here. Continuing on, here are my friends over here at Max Hub. As you can see, they're showing some of their collaboration boards, which also have pretty unlimited use cases. They have the XC Classic, or V6 Classic, and the V6 View Pro. So these are kind of all-in-one collaboration boards. As you can see, the View Pro does have a little bit more, a couple extra things that you can do with it and a few extra things integrated in than the Classic does. But yeah, we also have product videos on all of these, and we took product videos of them at Zoomtopia as well, so check those out. So continuing on, we have Signage OS over here. Signage OS actually just came out with some news, I believe, with Sony yesterday, where this is going to be integrated in Sony displays. So that was very big news for DSE. We have Navori Labs with a pretty sizable booth, which Navori Labs does digital signage and AI-driven marketing analytics software. So like Gary and I were saying, it's a lot of display companies. It's a lot of analytics measuring companies. A little bit of gesture control companies are here, but really in this section, it's all of the content and the analytics companies, whereas I think what Gary had yesterday were a lot more of the display companies themselves. As Gary and I were talking about, there are really very few digital signage player companies here this year, which is kind of surprising because that used to be, they were a million at a DSE. But really one of the biggest and only digital signage player companies here is BrightSign. And they've been pretty busy every time I've walked past them. BrightSign, of course, yes, is a digital signage player company. You might remember we've done videos and talked about their XC5, which is an 8K digital signage player. They also actually worked where you saw where I was earlier. They actually also worked on the digital signage archway for DSE with Red Dot, I want to say. So yeah, there are a couple of their players over here, as you can see. I believe the XC, yep, here's the XC5 right here that I was talking about. And last but not least, I wanted to show you guys Spectrio over here, which is another content company. So they do content creation and system on chip content. So this is also one of the options, the system on chip options that's integrated into different Sony displays. So Sony has actually announced a lot of partnerships recently, which is very, very big for them. And we also have a video on that you can go to and watch on ravepups.com. And like I said, this was going to be a pretty short show floor tour just because, yeah, the show floor is a little bit smaller this year as it is the first year back for DSE. But as you could see, like the booths are not empty. People are here. People are having really great conversations. And all of the manufacturers I've talked to have actually been really thrilled with the attendees show up. So it's been a really great show. I'm so happy to get to show you guys a little bit of what that has looked like for me. And that is our episode of rAVe TV. We will see you next time. Thank you so much to DSE for letting us be here and show you guys what it looks like. And we'll see you next time. Bye.
It's the weekly show about Pro AV with the hottest news in the AV industry. It's rAVe TV. Give it up for Steph and Gary. Steph and Gary.